Gas.
Alright. As you can see, that was definitely under 9 seconds. That being the rule of thumb. If you realize something's going down, you want to get your gas mask on in under 9 seconds, or else bad things might happen. Bottom shelf boomsticks here today. We're looking at a couple gas masks here. And we're going to be talking about a lot of them, not just these two. First thing I like to throw out there is a lot of people, when you say emergency preparedness, you know, you think of fire, tornado, natural disaster type things. Obviously here it means something a little different to us, so something fall of society, kind of leaning more toward that. But a lot of people that aren't necessarily hardcore preppers think that as long as you have a good amount of guns and ammo in your house, you'll be set for some sort of apocalyptic or somewhat less than apocalyptic situation. And guns really are only a very small part of everything you need to survive a disaster, especially a government collapsing disaster. Today I wanted to take a little bit of focus away from firearms, not ignore them completely, and I wanted to discuss gas masks. That being, of course, there's lots of different types of gases or biological elements that many different governments are using for multiple different reasons. So today I just wanted to discuss kind of the main difference between these two, if you couldn't tell, being this one has two separate filters, smaller filters, and the military one over here, which this is a military gas mask from Finland, has the one larger tank on the other side, and I'll get into why that's designed that way and why this one isn't. So obviously, you have gas masks are only as good as the filters that you put on them. These filters are all of them. It does say on here, I'm sure you can't read it, but it does say that it's good for all different types of permissible, let's see, it looks like permissible cartridge for organic vapors and chlorine and a bunch of nasty chemicals you don't want breathing in. And a lot of this could be used for, you know, any type of, you know, just housing, home improvement. It's the same thing. I did do a little bit of research online to make sure that these type of filters would protect you from most biological and chemical agents. And these do. These are the slightly more expensive filters. Not totally ridiculous expensive, but definitely not low-end filters. And this military filter does about the same thing. These two are about as equally... They filter about the same stuff, is what I'm trying to say. Now, other than the obvious cosmetic differences, which we'll get to in a bit, like being that this has two separate eyepieces and this has a whole face piece and that there's two, there's one thing that I would really like to demonstrate as far as an apocalyptic situation versus just some kind of gases in the air. And I'm going to use my cameraman for that, actually, if you would like to hand me the camera. Alright, thank you, buddy. Now, if you wouldn't mind putting on, let's say, why don't you put on the civilian mask first? Alright, so he's putting it on. Everything's sealed tight? Alright, well. Alright, everything good? Alright, if you wouldn't mind, pick up the Smith & Wesson 22 over here, please. Now, if you could do me a favor and show them that, yes, it is unloaded, so we will not be discharging the firearm in this home at this time. But, if you could try to ADS that for me, ADS being aim down sight. You having trouble there? Oh, let me see. Why don't you try to get it as close as you can? Yeah, that's not working too well, is it? Now, maybe that wouldn't be such a big deal if this was a 22. But otherwise, it might kick you in the face a little bit. Now, so, this is obviously the civilian-style gas mask. It is not a painter's mask, despite what some of you might think. This is about $500 piece of equipment. And like I said, it's good at what it does. It is a gas mask. You have very good peripheral vision on these. I would say probably up to a good, I'd say maybe 90%, maybe 90% peripheral vision.
Yeah, about.
Not bad. But you can't aim down your sight on your rifle, which is kind of a pain. Again, this is assuming you need your rifle and your gas mask at the same time for any reason. That might be an issue. Now, if you're more of a handgun person, like my assistant here will show you, my cameraman. This is the Sigma Series 40 caliber by Smith & Wesson. Once again, completely unloaded. If you're more of a handgun guy, this mask may not bother you. Can you get your sight picture pretty well? Nothing obstructing it or anything like that? So that wouldn't be a big deal.
Just a little bit right here. Just
is it a little on your shoulder?
Because of how...
Okay, so depending on your shooting technique and which arm you're dominant with, well, I guess doesn't really matter with this mask, but but it's much easier to aim. You can aim.
Oh, yeah.
You can manage. So that's that one. And like I said, these filters on both this gas mask and the military gas mask are rated for the same types of materials, hazardous dust, chemicals, biological agents, things like that. Now, if you would like to don the military one for me real quick. As you can see, this one obviously doesn't have a full face plate. It just it has two eyes, which is so it can be folded up and fit into your pocket if you really needed it to. Like I said, the main point of this portion of the video, I want to show you the combat effectiveness of each one in very basic terms. Alright. Tighten up those straps, buddy. Breathing fine? Smell like rubber in there?
All good.
Alright. Now, for this one, like I said, this one obviously only has one canister. So if you are a right-handed shooter like a majority of the population, would you try picking up that rifle again for me? Alright, now why don't you aim down the sight? Alright, can you see down both peep sights? Or the peep sight and the front sight?
Absolutely.
Alright, well there's good proof there that this is definitely a more combat effective gas mask, and obviously you would be able to use a pistol just as well, so we're not gonna bore you with that.
Lefty would be screwed.
Yeah, lefties would be in a bit of trouble, but I'm sure if you really needed to, you could go online and possibly find a left-sided or a right-sided canister, but I didn't look for that because I am right-handed. So sorry for all the lefties watching this video, but obviously you can handle the gun pretty well.
That's just for this mask.
And that's just for this mask. Now, I will say that a lot of people would be concerned that there is this piece right here where you can't see through, but a lot like your nose, while you're wearing the mask, I assume you're going to agree with me on this, you really don't notice that piece is there.
No, if you actually like stop and just kind of take inventory of your eyepieces, yeah, you can actually see a little black spot, but other than that, it's no big deal.
Alright, now, how would you... I rated this one, because I've also obviously worn this one as well, this civilian one. How would you rate the peripheral compared to the civilian one?
It's right about here, so it's about 90 again. About 90
maybe 85, a little less, just because it's a smaller eyepiece.
Right, and also with the military, what you're going to be doing is, you're going to be looking left and right all the time, so...
Right, so, again, that's more of a personal preference. I personally would like to have a little bit more peripheral, even if it's just a little bit more.
Also, this is like World War II.
Right.
So, they did things a little bit differently than what we do now.
Alright, now if you would like to take that off for me. All right, now that you've seen how at least kind of effective you would be with a weapon on each of these, obviously you don't need to take our word for these. If you have the opportunity to go try these out yourself, do it. Practice with your weapons, practice just putting it on in under 9 seconds, getting comfortable with the way a mask would work. Now, there are obviously different levels of gas masks. First one being the N95, which I do not have an example of here. But it's basically your everyday nuisance mask, the kind like your dentist would put on just so he doesn't spit in your mouth while you have your mouth open in his chair. And that actually doing research, I found that those are in fact 90% effective against anthrax spores, which is pretty impressive, to be honest. Now, if obviously, like I said, this is a bigger canister. These are 2 smaller canisters. The next step up from that would be a respirator or a painter's mask. And as far as an emergency situation, that might be good for if you're in a building and it's on fire. It might clear out some of the smoke. I'm honestly not too sure. But I know that those are usually only used for aerosol chemicals. That's really all they're rated for, so you would need to get a better canister than that for maybe a dirty bomb or any type of chemical gas that would be used in an attack. This next step up from that, people say that they like the they're called escape hoods, and it's pretty much the same filter that's on these. The same filter, but it's a plastic hood that you throw over your head, and once the filter's done, it's done. It's a one-time use only emergency hood that goes, you just pull it over your head, and I'm not entirely sure how it keeps the air out. But I know the emergency hoods go for almost exactly the same price, if not more expensive, than your gas mask. Than a good gas mask that can use the same type of filters we have here. Going from $150 to $500 for the gas mask, and $150 to $600 for the emergency hood that you can only use once. So in my opinion, it would be better and more efficient for you to just go out and buy a gas mask and get some filters. That's my opinion. If you have a problem putting these on and you want a plastic hood to throw over your head in case, go for it. I'm not telling you what to buy. Like I said, these are made for different chemical attacks, or not, I shouldn't say chemical attacks, different chemicals, biological agents, and harmful dust, things like that. Obviously anything a military should be preparing for. One thing I do want to say, obviously the next step up from the respirators and the hood would be your gas mask. That is the next step up, and that's about where it ends as far as what civilians can get a hold of. So there's these kind of gas masks, which you can get at a hardware store for, like I said, about $150 to $500, depending on brand and what it can do, and I honestly don't know what other factors there'd be. And these kind of masks are a little harder to find, but if you have an Army surplus store anywhere near you, or even I'm sure you can order these online, especially the extra canisters I know you can get online. These actually could get a little more expensive or a little less expensive depending on the demand and the supply they have. So it's kind of a crapshoot for these.
In the country.
And like I said, these are great if you are a rifleman. If you need a rifle for your situation, you can shoulder your rifle with this. Or, excuse me, you can shoulder your rifle with the civilian mask, but you're not going to be able to look down the sight. This one you can. Now, of course, in a very, very serious event, a catastrophic social collapse, you are going to have to bug out, or leave your house, leave your town, and go somewhere where there's not a lot of people. And that's what I wanted to talk about not so much the cosmetic, but just the design of these. This one, I would say, weighs a good 2.5 pounds. Which, in respect, not that bad. I mean, it's 2.5 pounds, which this isn't something you want to skimp on your survival pack if you need a gas mask and you know you're going to need one. If all you have is this, you better make room in your pack. But this military one, obviously it's mostly rubber. The canister doesn't weigh a lot. I'd say this canister maybe weighs 1.5 what this canister weighs. But the entire mask together is only about a pound. So if you are backpacking and you're hiking out and you have a lot of stuff on you, which you would, it might be more worth your while to have something lighter and more compactable, which obviously, because this one can't fold because of the full face, this one having the eyes right in half, you can fold this and it becomes very... Take the canister off here. Let me get this off. You take that canister off, put that somewhere, and the mask, you can if you have cargo shorts on or cargo pants, this will go right in your pocket. I've done it. This will go right in your pocket, not taking up a lot of room or weight at all. Now, like I said, if you can't get a hold of one of these, or if you prefer the civilian one with the 2 filters, that's all personal preference. Like I said, I'm not here to endorse one or the other. What I will say is, since this is a military canister, I've been told, I haven't done personal research on this, but I've been told this will last about 14 hours to 16 hours of solid breathing, is what I've been told. Like I said, and I'm not an expert at anything in any of this. This is just my research, what I'm thinking, what I am putting myself in the situation for. If you guys have better information than me, or if I say something incorrectly and you know, please let me know down in the comments. You're not going to hurt my feelings or anything telling me how dumb I am, nothing like that. But I know these 2 together will last 8 hours. 4 hours per canister is what they say, so if you're breathing through 2, 8 hours. These are, I'm not entirely sure how much these run as far as monetary value. I'm sure they're not too expensive, but this is about $30 for one of these. One of these, $30, less weight, less space, versus 2 of these for 8 hours. So this is quadruple what one of these filters is. Obviously, from just sheer size and the fact that it is a military, it's military made. It's made for a military. And that's about all I really wanted to point out, is just that there's a lot of different options out there as far as gas masks and apparatuses to keep unwanted things out of your lungs. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of less quality masks out here that aren't rated for such high levels of chemical, gas, all sorts of different things. So always make sure that you're checking what you're buying before you get it. And like I said, if you guys have anything, you want me to talk about other than guns, or if you have a knife that you want me to talk about, or maybe a couple of different knives that you're not so sure on the difference of, let me know. Let us know, and we'll definitely do our best to check it out for you. These gas masks, I got both of them for, this one I actually found in an Army surplus store for, actually I paid $35 for the mask and another $30 for the canister. So, you can find these pretty cheap if you know where to look. I've seen them go for quite a bit more than $35. These ones, if you go to a hardware store or any other kind of store that would sell something like this, they usually are a good $150, $200, possibly even $300. So, like I said, it's kind of where you look depending on how much you're going to pay and which style you get. But definitely, if you are a prepper, or not so much a hardcore prepper, like you don't have a cement dungeon under your house, not pointing any fingers, but if you want to be more prepared than just having a few guns at your disposal, a gas mask is another great place to start. And for now on, we are going to be reviewing not just weapons, but survival techniques sometimes, survival tools, just a bunch of different stuff that an everyday person can get a hold of. So, guys, let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about more with these. If there's something I left out that you really want to know, leave it in the comments below, and I'll make another video appropriate to it. Or if there's anything you want us to talk about, to show you, to look up and try out, let us know. But for today, that's been Bottom Shelf Boomsticks, and we will see you guys later.